Someone who's gone a long way, who's been flying the flag for Malaysia in Indonesia, is our number 10, Safi Salih. He was out and about shopping recently, helping the unfortunate for Ramadan, and I had the privilege of interviewing him, and this is what the man had to say about a lot of stuff here in Malaysia.
You've been in Malaysian football for some time now.
Yeah.
Honestly, has the level of football improved for you?
Yeah, honestly, now really big improve for our national team.
Yeah.
Because before this, we always different type of football we play, and now we have a new
Consistency?
yeah consistency, and we have a new style and new play, and we have our confidence now.
Yeah.
Our confidence is very high.
Yeah.
So I feel different before this.
Okay.
I already played with a lot different coach before. So with King Rajagopal, I feel different, and our team is more stronger and stronger.
Okay. Now you're in Indonesia now, correct?
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is the difference in level of football, say club-wise?
What I see, the professionalism in the club is too much different here and in Indonesia. Because in Indonesia they have a lot of money, and here lack of professionalism and lack of excitement of the league. You know,
The fans?
Yeah, the fans tak ada macam
There's no support.
yeah, support to the league. So it's not competitive and not good for the players.
Do you think there's too much criticism from media, from fans, on you and the whole Malaysian team at times? Or even club football?
Yeah, but the criticism is ada yang bagus dan ada yang. So it's normal in football.
Now, say if Safi Salih is the president of FAM, just say.
Yeah.
Will you change anything to that to improve Malaysian football?
Yeah, I will change a lot in our structure of a league and national team, because what I think Malaysia League tak boleh FM yang handle. Kena ada satu badan induk yang tertentu untuk menjaga kerancakan liga, untuk mempromosikan liga dan mencari sponsor liga. Dan FM itu hanya boleh untuk menjaga squad national team lah. Itu bagi saya lah, kalau saya sebagai presiden, saya akan berubah.
Okay, if Safi Salih had one dream that he wants to make true or come true, what will that one dream be?
I want to play to Manchester United.
Wow. Okay, Safi Salih, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's go to some shopping now.
All right.
I'll be very honest, that is a very humble and a very honest man. Some of the answers
Can you imagine Usain Bolt and Safi Salih up front?
for Manchester United. Thank you for taking this so seriously, Ross. I mean, there's some hard points.
Yeah, I think you've got him there, because you've been a journalist and you've forced him into saying things that I'm not sure he really meant to say.
Do you want me to hit him, Des?
He was speaking the truth.
You fed him words, and he's not going to say no to some of your questions.
Oh my
He's gonna
God.
say yes. I think you've been very good as a journalist there, but I don't think it's a fair reflection.
No, but seriously, hey, you look at Brendan's face. He's going like, I might agree with him.
Some points, but I don't want to elaborate on that.
Brendan was just translating the whole thing for me.
Yeah. Since I don't have a good Malay.
No, but Brendan, how long are you here for?
I'm here for this season.
And where are you going to be moving next to? Will Malaysia?
Unsure at this stage.
I think that's the big issue in Malaysian football at the moment. Not one that I agree with, the ruling that foreigners can't play for a different club within, was it 2 years or something like that?
Yeah, if you play within a Malaysian team, you cannot move within the league. You have to play 2 years out of the league, and then you can come back.
So I think Brendan's stuck in a bit of a pickle now. As in if he chooses not to stay with Sabah, he can't play for any other Malaysian team. And it's a bit of a weird ruling for me, because if you get quality foreigners that maybe things aren't going right with the clubs, for example, and they want to move on to a better team within the country, they're restricted. They can't. They'll have to go out of the country, join a foreign league before coming back in.
But isn't this like a way of maybe weeding out the bad players?
That's exactly why it was brought in, because there was real criticism 4 or 5 years ago before the change that too many substandard foreign players were coming in, were taking the money and would then move on to another club.
Yeah.
So the plan is to try and give a little bit of stability. Marlon's in exactly the same, Marlon James at ATM, exactly the same position as you. Other clubs I'm sure would love Marlon because of the goals he brings. And probably the same for you, but you're victims of something that happened 4, 5, 6 years ago, and it's not nice, but I fully understand.
But I do think the Super League's come on a lot since then, and I think it might be due time to change that and say I do not think like a lot of the foreigners. I think they want to be one of the better ones this season. I don't think we've seen a good Super League. Some of the quality foreigners have played. They have been above the standard of the ones previously. So I do think it's time for FAM. Maybe they could take a look at the rule, see where they can accommodate and readjust it again.
But it needs more than 1 year because you need a consistency. That's the word that's there. And the rule is there. You guys know this when you sign.
The rule was there, but it wasn't as big as what it was brought out to be now.
Okay.
So it was.
So it was a bit of a greyish area when you first signed.
It was very grey, yeah. But I fully understand the rule that it's in place to obviously weed out the not so good imports who were coming here just for money. But also,
2 years is too long for you?
I think it is too long. I definitely think it's too long. But in saying that, with us having to go to another club first, it might not want us to come back to this league. You know what I mean? So
you might not want to come back.
So yeah, you might go on to bigger and better things. But what if the club didn't perform this year? It's not all about 2 foreigners coming in here and changing a whole team. You can't rely on 2 foreigners.
But the
to change
foreigners
a whole
do have
team.
a massive influence in Southeast Asia. The foreigners, you're the standards.
Well, you expect that to be
Exactly. But it's also a team sport. You can't do everything on the field.
Agreed.
So to have that, if you don't go very well and you want to move on to a better team, that a club might want you, but we cannot even go on loan for Malaysia Cup. So
I do think that's a bit like you could have a great season as a foreigner. Your team may get relegated, but you're not allowed to and receive a good offer from a top team, and it restricts you. I mean, from a playing point of view, you just want to play football.
Yeah.
And you could be settled here. You could have.
Okay, I'm not going to say I know how you feel, but in a way, when we were in radio and when we left our previous station, we were not allowed to work for any other company for a certain period of time.
Sucks, don't it?
Yeah, but nevertheless, it was like for us, it was 6 months.
Yeah.
And 6 months for us is a lot of money not to have if you're, it's a big gap, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with Craig. I think 1 year would be a fair, one season, If you play for a club here, 1 season. I'd like to see foreigners given longer contracts. I like to see fans with names of foreigners on the back of the shirts,
But then I don't think
the league.
Yes.
Like that's what Malaysia doesn't have.
Yeah,
it does not promote the league on a world stage.
Yeah.
And that's what it needs to do.
I don't think clubs are stable. I don't think clubs are stable.
Astro Arena's put a lot of money into it, and we're showing games live, and you're on SNTV, which is one of the major news services. So this league is now shown around the world. Dual language, thank you.
I agree with you. It's definitely going somewhere. It's definitely going somewhere. But as you said, it takes time for these things to happen.
I think just going back to what Ross said, like giving players longer contracts. I don't think clubs in Malaysia are stable enough to do that. I still think it's one of those things where the money may be there for 1 season, but for the second and third season, they might not have it. And I've seen clubs fold very quickly. Look at my team, who invested heavily. They had near enough half the national team in their squad at one stage, and they disbanded very quickly.
What was my team? It was a made-up team. It didn't represent anybody.
Yeah.
It was a figment of people's imagination. Great fun, but it doesn't matter. State football really matters.
But the money tends to be more with the club size these days.
What we want is the money to go towards the states and to sponsor the state teams. Now, therein lies another thing to sort. But the state teams are the ones who get the support. If we have T-Team versus ATM in the Malaysia Cup final, we'll have a gate of around about 5,000 or 6,000.
Yeah.
If we have Kelantan versus Terengganu or Singapore Lions versus Perak, we'll have 60,000, 70,000.
Yeah, but then you can go to the flip side of that. If KL were KL were to play in the Malaysia Cup final.
If KL had a good team, you'd
with
still get
Stanley?
15, 20, 25.
Hey, Stanley's a good one.
Your two guys are very
It
good.
was just mainly, I
thought you were his
picked the
mate.
team. I just,
801, one of the goals you said a long time ago when you first came on the show was to promote and push Malaysian football. Have you seen that happen rating-wise, in crowds-wise?
I can tell you, ratings-wise, it is phenomenal. The figures that we get. I'm not allowed to reveal commercial secrets, but we get excellent ratings. I tell you, I go to Australia and I tell them the kind of shares, audience shares that we have for Malaysian League compared to what Fox do for the A-League. And they think I'm lying. And so I tell them I'm not.
The urban market?
It's phenomenal.
Urban market.
Urban market. Listen, football is a nationwide thing. It's great. We get terrific ratings up in the northeast. We get terrific ratings for when Singapore Lions play. KL don't have a team at the moment, but I tell you, if Selangor make the Malaysia Cup final, we will have huge ratings. And when the Malaysia national team play, millions. Phenomenal.
But in saying that, Malaysia doesn't have what A-League, as many sports as what Australia has. That more viewers can watch different sports. But here in Malaysia, you do have your badminton and all that sort of stuff. But soccer,
consistent,
it's not consistent. Soccer's on every, as you said,
it's our national sport.
National sport every week.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people are tuning in, because it's consistent with everything.
Okay, with your short time here, how would you market or make it more like flamboyant, if you want to use the word, for the urban market and so on and so forth?
Oh, well, in saying even with Sabah, there needed to be a lot more marketing involved in just telling people when games are. That was a big problem. You know, we never did any promotions for the teams and that's another thing. Teams need to be out in the community, you know, promoting the side, promoting soccer, promoting football to the world, and that's what, as you said, what the difference between Malaysia and Australia. Australia do that all the time. They get into the community, the grassroots, where it's at, because the next step for Malaysia is to get these young players who are going to be the next stars for Malaysia, for the Malaysian national team, for the Malaysian Super League. And that's what needs to be happening.
Ross, we know your thoughts on grassroots.
Well, the only way to go, I think, in Malaysia is to privatise the whole thing. If you run it like a business, you'll see clubs being a lot more professional and doing things properly, and that's
Haven't you been saying this for the past 3 seasons?
Yeah.
But then it goes back to what Des says, the crowds, will they come in to support?
Of course they will. We've got geography here. Like Des says, Selangor, if they get to the final, there'll be thousands. It will fill out stadiums.
But do you see that happening?
Yes, it is happening. Yeah. It's just not in KL. It's just because it's not on your doorstep. You're not seeing it. Everywhere else around the country, it's terrific.
I agree.
Sabah have had 25,000 fans this year. And that's
when Kelantan played.
25,000 turning up to an event in Kota Kinabalu. What else generates that kind of interest?
Exactly.
I mean, even when Kelantan play in KL, for example,
They're down here.
the fans
They
come
are down here, man.
in their
But in
thousands
saying
just to come
in
and see
saying
that.
that, Kelantan promote their club so well.
Yeah.
They have merchandising.
Yeah.
What other team has merchandising
That's
like
actually
that?
very true.
You
You
know?
will see a lot of people very proud with their jersey
Everyone
here.
wears
I mean,
Not
you
all
can see
legitimate.
KL.